Hi, I'm going to talk about childless people who don't overpopulate and how much we are financially discriminated. Over 500,000 in our lifetime. $500,000 we are penalized. Here's a small interview.
Didn't grow up too far.
We're at the San Antonio home of former housing secretary Julian Castro.
He is tone deaf to this issue in his response.
Him what one of the voters from our roundtable had to say about taxes.
This lady nails it.
Look at my pay stubs to see how I'm being robbed. And I'm being penalized because I'm single, I have no children, and I own no property. And what they're taking from me for taxes it's absurd.
Does that have a...
To see how I'm being robbed.
She nails it
and
here.
I'm being penalized because I'm single, I have no children, and I own no property. And what they're taking from me for taxes it's absurd.
Does that have a ring of truth to you?
You know, coming up in
tone deaf
politics at the local level,
doesn't answer the question.
Knock on a lot of doors over the years and hear from a lot of people, and it doesn't surprise me. I think that for the last 40 years that we've expected more and more from the middle class and from the working poor. And
no, that is not the question that she addressed. It's that childless are being docked for not overpopulating. It's financial discrimination at its finest. United States, the freedom to conform or else. They steal your financial freedom. China fines people or fined people for having more than one child. Yes, due to overpopulation. We are not the only species futures that we're jeopardizing. It took all of time to 1800 to reach 1 billion people. And now, by 2050, we will be near 10. But that's not the issue, although it affects deforestation, endangered species, wildlife cut in half, overfishing. Now we have sick fish farms like factory farms of billions of animals that are force bred. And again, wildlife cut in half, plastic covering the oceans. Overpopulation for ethical reasons is why we don't have kids. But the government forces us to pay for others. As I said, China fined people for having more than one child. United States fines people who are childless tons. It's fake freedom controlling you by finances. We're forced to pay for what we are against because we are the minority subgroup. Even though there's millions of childless people, we need to band together and lobby in our behalf, whether you're childless by choice or by situation or finances. But we are financially supporting others who do breed. I'm going to tell you how we are docked nearly $500,000 in our lifetimes. Socialist public schools, K through 12, we pay $6,000 a year because we have a small house in New York and Texas. $6,000 a year is stolen from us when I don't even have health care or a retirement plan. That would be a nice retirement. Where's the GOP, the fake Christian cons, allowing people to opt out of health care, but they won't allow us to opt out of socialist school taxes? Child tax credits, thousands a year. Over 18 years, it was over 100,000 if you have 2 kids. So you have socialist public schools that we pay $6,000 a year, and some want free lunches for kids now, when I barely can afford a lunch for myself. After school programs and everything else, and it keeps going up. $6,000 a year stolen. Child tax credits. Health care plans are often the same price for a family or a couple. It's not pancakes or an all-you-can-eat buffet. Buy one, get 7 free. I couldn't go on my wife's health care plan because I do contract work. I couldn't go on her health care plan because we had to subsidize people with 3, 4 kids because it's the same rate for 2 people, a couple, or 10 is insane. So I couldn't get on it because it was too inflated for just adding me. How else? Healthcare plans, buffet style, single or family. Then you have Medicaid and Medicare. Of course, people who are childless never get even the food stamps under Trump now. We can pay into it, but we have no chance of getting it. Is pure discrimination. We pay the most for the least. Paid paternity leave. How about you give everyone more leave and you use it as you wish? That's freedom. Not making us do double the work for the same pay as them for having sex. I had to pay paid paternity leave on my paycheck when I don't even get sick leave for myself. It's deducted from my paycheck when I don't even get sick leave. Insanity. I can never benefit from it. Maternity or paternity leave. Because I don't qualify as a contract worker. But I have to pay into the programs. And then they have daycare write-offs and much more. So what we need to do, our politicians need to be smart instead of idiots. Make birth control free for all in Colorado. It saved taxpayers tons. Screw the religious freaks and fairy tale freaks. Make birth control free. It saves taxpayers tons. And require, birth control shots for men and women if you're on any form of welfare, public housing, food stamps, anything. Required birth control shot before you can cash your check. It's a privilege, and you're getting other people's money. You should have to pay for it in some form. So that's how childless are discriminated. Over $450,000. There's a book on that. A family-friendly America cheats the childless. No, they rob them. $450,000. School taxes, when we can go without health care for ourselves. Child tax credits, family health care plans, the same for 2 people or 10 people with 10 kids. Paid paternity leave, daycare write-offs, and much more. That's only the tip of the iceberg. And they are the ones who qualify for welfare, whereas childless basically can't qualify for anything. And how else are our politicians stupid and moronic? Well, they're subsidizing industries that cost us tons, like the meat industry. Takes about 12 pounds of corn or grains fed to a force-bred animal for just 1 pound of meat in return. Thus massive food waste, labor and resource intensive. So how is it so cheap? Despite being horrible for our healthcare system, environment, animals, and massive food waste, our government subsidizes that industry so much that a pound of salad or healthy food, Whole Foods, is way more than fast food or meats. Backwards. We're paying to cost us tons more. Absolutely nonsense. So there you have it. How our government is a joke. The simplest solution is a smaller government in those 2 issues I just mentioned. Defund them. Make birth control free. Stop subsidizing animal agriculture or the factory farm industry. Libertarian type views. And stop subsidizing people's luxury of having children and consuming animal products. Pay for your own things. Thank you. And share if you care.
To see how I'm being robbed. And I'm being penalized because I'm single, I have no children, and I own no property.
Yep, and you're still paying school taxes because landlords pass that right on down. Discriminated the childless. Fake freedom in the USA. Only if you conform. That's not freedom. Financially controlled.